Hi, everyone. I wanted to do something a little bit different with you guys today, and I'm going to be starting a new series where I thought it would be kind of nice if we could all sit down and paint together or create something together. If you don't paint, you could write, you could draw, um, just whatever sort of creative thing that you do, you could do it here. And while we're doing this, I planned on covering some topics for you guys that really helped me when I was struggling. And even now, like I have a lot of anxiety doing this, and some days I just do. And when I feel like this, the best thing that has really helped me is to just paint and not really think too much about it. And my brain always is overthinking. A lot of the things that I've talked about here, um, finding ways to combat that as best as you can and learning to be more present and alert, feeling more connected to your body. I just figured that with each episode in this series, I don't know how many episodes it will be or anything like that yet either, but I'm just going to kind of feel it out, and whatever I am sensing collectively that needs to be talked about, that's what I'd like to do here. And I pulled a few cards for you guys when I did this. And the cards that came out, if you guys are familiar, are the Two of Cups, the Five of Cups, and the Knight of Swords. And these cards were, what I was asking and sort of feeling out was, what do I need to talk about that would be useful to you guys? What do you guys need me to focus on? And I think each time that we get into something like this, I'm going to pull a few cards, and that's what I'll speak about while we're doing this exercise together. And essentially, what the exercise is going to be is in the beginning, I'm going to have you guys take some deep breaths, and I'm also going to just have you guys. Is this echoing? Yeah, I think it is. Sorry if you guys could hear that echoing. But I'm going to try to have you guys essentially do a body scan in the beginning. And if you're comfortable doing that with me, it just helps to get you out of your head and more grounded back into your body, which, especially, to do this is exactly what we want. Like, that's why, you'll see me like touching the paper, um, and like tapping my fingers. It's literally just me kind of bringing the energy back out into my body instead of up in my head. And so I thought that's literally what we could do here together. So, and obviously, I rarely plan out anything that I'm going to say. I just think it's really important, especially with this like Two of Cups that I pulled. This card is about connection, and it can be a romantic card, but it doesn't have to be. And in this context, that's clearly not what this is talking about. But it goes into something a lot deeper, which I have discussed here a little bit. And that is this idea of, these two sort of opposite forces coming together and creating something new together and merging their energies. Um, and when you think about it in the terms of like emotions, we're taking something that maybe has been difficult for us, some sort of, it can be trauma, it could be anxiety, it could be some kind of a loss, it could be anything that you're going through. And basically, it's learning to take that pain, that struggle, and you're essentially mixing it, right? With, it can be like literal colors. You could do this through writing. That's why I always stress that it doesn't have to be just painting. I'm only focusing on painting here just because that's, what I'm doing currently. But, and you're trying to basically ground your emotions, ground yourself back into your body, take these really difficult things that you could be going through, and this paper essentially is going to be what I'm channeling the emotions into, right? And in doing that, in turn, once this has something on it, we just created a whole new energetic thing from the pain. And, one of the other cards that came out is the Five of Cups, which talks about, in the picture, you have a guy he's staring down, and he's got all these spilled cups on the ground. But what he's not realizing, because he's staring down, is there are two left standing. And this essentially is just talking about, sometimes when you go through something really difficult, you can find yourself feeling trapped in the past. You can feel yourself looking around you at everything that's gone wrong, and you're not able to see that there are still opportunities ahead of you. And a lot of times, this ties into your third card, actually, was the Knight of Swords. And with that, it's, the swords are about communication, they're about mental energy. And this can be, on the card, it's a man on a horse that's just driving swiftly ahead, essentially. And it can be an aggressive card, right? And in this context, I think it's specifically aggressive mental thoughts, right? Which goes back to that Five of Cups. And so looping thoughts that are just racing around about things that have happened in the past. And to go back to the first card, which was the Two of Cups, that's also a card of connection. And so when I'm asking, what is it that you guys really need, and to pull the Two of Cups, that's a really clear answer, and I'm grateful that it was. And that's what I really want to do here with you guys. The whole reason that I'm really doing this is because I wanted to connect and create a space that I never had when I really needed it. And I know a lot of people still need it. And I'm not always going to have like the perfect things to say, and my thoughts are racing sometimes even while I'm doing these things. And at the same time, I know that if we could create something together that is safe for everyone to show up and be real and be who they really are and work through whatever they're working through, then we've created something really special and healing. And that's what's really the most important thing to me in all of this. That's why I even started doing it, was because of my own sort of Five of Cups, pain, regret, sadness, sorrow, all those things, right? And I just think that in life it can get really obviously challenging to keep looking forward. And you don't have to constantly be optimistic. There's this sense in the spiritual sort of, I don't know, sphere, that you always have to be focused on good things and thinking good things. And even outside of spirituality, you'll hear that, in a lot of different places. If you're, let's say you're asking someone for help, and it's immediately, well, did you try to smile? Did you try to do this? Did you, try to just be happy? And anybody who's going through something hard knows that that's absolutely ridiculous to say to somebody. It's never helped a single person ever. That will be useful eventually, right? But not in the midst of, I don't know, if you have your heart broken, or your animal passed away, or it could be anything. And life is really difficult. And especially, if you are on some sort of like a spiritual path, whatever that really means. Again, I really hate having to use words like that. I don't know another way to really put it. But, if you've had any moment in your life where you've suddenly been shaken up and you start to see the world differently, a lot of people, refer to it as an ego death, right? And you have these things that happen, and there is a real part of you that's longing to come out. And if it can't, it manifests itself through, it can be addictions, it can be mental disorders, it can be feeling really anxious, really depressed. It could be a lot of different things. And again, these are all real things that happen. And if you need professional help, I advise anybody to get that because obviously for legal reasons, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a counselor, I'm not a psychologist, psychiatrist, lawyer, doctor, any of those things and whatever else. But what I am as a person and experiential knowledge, going through things and learning something from that still counts. It still counts for a lot. I'm not claiming to be able to come on here and I'm not healing you guys. And I want that to be really evident that I can sit and I can teach you what I know. And at the same time, it's up to you guys if you'd like to apply what I'm teaching you. And it's only things that I have gone through and have worked through really hard. And I did do therapy and I did it for a really long time, like 10 years. And through all of that, I learned a lot. And diving more into spiritual things as well, I learned a lot. And there are things that I think, just concepts, ideas, things for you guys to ponder that, I'd like to just bring up. And if it's not something that you're interested in, at least spiritually, that's okay. You could even feel free to just like skip that part of the video. I want anybody to be able to come here. It doesn't matter. And we're all on a different path in life, and that's okay. Like, we're not supposed to be walking the same path despite what the world really, teaches us. And I'm going into all of that because I just feel, especially with that Two of Cups, it's like this takeover of things like technology and AI and um, outsourcing humanity. It has, I think, started to disconnect us from reality, and it's made us start craving more authentic things. And with this Two of Cups, especially, it's like two people on a card they both have two cups and they're essentially like clinking them together, and you see them staring at each other, and it's this idea of like coming together. That's what I'm really trying to say. You're bringing two things together, and the Suit of Cups is about emotions, right? So that's why specifically for this we're talking about emotional alchemy. That's what that really just means. And you're transforming these different substances of emotion into something else. You're creating something new from it. So in my experience, I had something really difficult happen. We'll just like use that as X example. And I started painting, and out from the paintings, healing began, right? And it's these different components that you're mixing together and you're creating this new almost frequency within yourself. And that's the alchemy, that's the magic, right? And we do this every day. We're constantly setting intentions for ourselves. We're constantly manifesting things. We're bringing things into this world. And we're shaping our reality, whether we are conscious of it or not. And most of us are not. It is our subconscious driving that. And what this essentially does when you get grounded and you pick up a brush and you just start doing this, whatever you're doing, it doesn't matter what it looks like or anything, but you are bringing your subconscious out. And if you can sit afterward and sort of intuitively learn to interpret what you're seeing, you can sit quietly and do that, you will start to discover things about yourself. That's a guarantee. And it's not, you're not going to be able to think your way through it. You're not going to be able to Google your way through it. And that's why I think this is really important, to just get back in touch with being a person and having flaws and having struggles, having a hard day, having a hard year, 5 years, all of it. That's a part of being a person. And if you bring something like the concept of a soul into that, what I've seen a lot and what I struggled with a lot when I was getting into like spiritual things like this was that I think we all maybe uh, grossly assume that it's for, some sort of like monk sitting on a hill. And at the same time, we struggle to figure out how we would ever be able to embody that groundedness, that peace, when We have bills to pay, we have people to feed, we have things to do, a million things to do. And what I've learned is that it's a kind of also a little form of alchemy there, right? Where you're blending your spirituality, your soul with your humanity, and that they're actually not separate. They're not separate, they're not oppositional, they're not fighting to be. Our brains do that and our egos do that. What that means is that something that I strive to do is make every day of my life a walking act of devotion. So whether that just be that I'm washing my hair, I'm washing my dishes, I'm hugging my child, I'm painting my nails, I'm talking to you guys. If you do it, you start living from your heart. You get back in touch with who you really are, what you really love. You learn to love yourself. You learn to love others. You see the the connectedness in everything, right? So that we're not separate. What I do impacts another. What someone else does impacts me. And you go out into nature and you look at the world and you see none of us were ever separate from each other. We were never really apart. We're not really alone. And that matters, especially if you're having a hard time and you're feeling alone or lonely, it's a big shift to now be able to sit, and you could be completely by yourself like I am at this moment. And you're sitting under this big sky and you just realize you're a part of it. You're a part of all of it. You are this beautiful physical manifestation of consciousness. And that's beautiful. That's really special. And I like to try to ground that, in real terms so it doesn't sound like some hokey, weird, cringy thing. It's just sitting there and you can feel your own heartbeat. You can put your hands on your own skin. You can breathe with your lungs, and you're also sitting out in the real world. And it's like, it's all together, it's all connected. And when I started to really feel that way, what I was talking about before this is learning then, if you believe that, if you can feel that, every single thing that you do is your life. Every moment that passes, every choice that you make, every single thing that you do it's your life right now. And what I mean by that is, instead of like with the Knight of Swords that we pulled, it's not about rushing around in your head thinking about tomorrow or yesterday or panic thinking. And even in that, that's still a part of this being a person. But I just mean, you start to realize that every single thing that you do means something. You start to live intentionally, and how you interact with yourself, others, your circumstances, your life, when you can shift it into understanding that we all have this ability within us to heal, to grow, to overcome, suddenly then life is not some big puzzle that we're meant to solve. Suddenly it's that every single thing that we do is us showing up for our life, for ourselves. And so when I'm making something, even if it's just going to be something I don't even know what it is, that's not the point at all. It doesn't matter. And it can be when you're creating, anybody who creates things knows how difficult it can be sometimes to get out of your own way and stop overthinking it and stop panicking and stop worrying if it's good, if it's bad, what will people think of it. You just feel things like that. You worry about them. Everybody to an extent does, sometimes at least. And this is going to be an exercise in learning to just let go, to put random colors on whatever, and throw them on. That's what we're really doing. And just having that be the reality of why you're doing it, that's where the shift is. Like, you're not pretending your way through. It's not about the outcome of the picture. It's about you are intentionally saying, whatever wants to come out, it can come out however it wants. I won't judge it. I won't overthink it. It can just exist, just like you can, just like we all should be. That's really my point. And I, I've thought too long about how to say all of this. I've worried, I've wondered, and you have moments sometimes where you just don't feel good enough. You think, like, why should I be the one doing this? And you can really trap yourself if you keep thinking it. You're just going to think it forever and you'll never do anything. And no, I'm not special. I'm not different than anybody else. I don't matter more. I am not worth more. I don't think that at all. And I don't, we don't really even have to go down that whole rabbit hole, really. But I'm just trying to say that the truth is, we all do matter. Every one of us has something to offer. Every one of us does mean something. We're worth something inherently, all of us, all the time, no matter what. And that can't be taken from you. And when you start to live, that's what I mean, from your heart, right there, that is a truth that lives within us that we can then use when we're having a hard time, when we're struggling with something, to get the emotions out, and we can put them somewhere. And whether, like I said, you could build Legos, you could paint, you could draw, you could sing, you could dance, you could cook, you could do karate. I don't know. You could do literally anything. It doesn't matter. And if this is something even you just want to put on in the background, if it's something that you just want to um, have going while you're doing something else, or if you'd like to paint with me, that's fine too. I am just trying to very, very messy, like in a very messy way, I'm trying to bring together these concepts of healing and art, and I'm showing you guys what I have done and what you can apply to your life if you'd like to, and if you think it would be helpful for you. And art is just something that is universal. It's a language that we all speak. It speaks to our souls. It speaks to our hearts. It connects us back to our innocence, our childlike nature, the ability to look at the world and still be amazed instead of um, I don't know, I can't think of the word I just wanted, but I guess pessimistic, detached. There are reasons to feel those things as well, and I'm not trying to undermine them. I'm just saying that a perspective shift, not pretending to be happy, not pretending we all walk on sunshine and we can buy pretty crystals and our life is going to magically change. That's not what I'm talking about doing. And I don't even think that that's true. um, the things that you have, like, if you do like crystals, if you do like those things, I'm not trying to even, I'm not trying to be rude by saying that, but what I more mean is, like, I think that they're helpful tools. I think that just like um, painting can be a tool, right? Painting in itself isn't some magic thing. It's the intention that you're putting into it. So no matter what the activity is, or whether that is that you like crystals or whatever, I'm just trying to say that it's your intention that makes it powerful. And you don't have to have fancy equipment or products or something to be able to heal. That's more why I said what I said a second ago. That's what I'm trying to really get across, is you can just be you right now, today, at this moment, whether you're panicking, whether you're scared, whether you have a million things to do, whether you're alone and you feel like you don't have anyone. I'm here for you guys the best way that I know how to be here. That's actually going to be helpful. And if no one else says it to you today, like, you guys matter. And I not in a parasocial, like weird way, but I love you guys. And I'm really grateful for every one of you who have watched me make something. You watched me make healing for myself. And that's really, really special. And I want to teach you guys how to do the same thing. So, because we just went through all of that, and I just thought maybe it would be kind of nice to talk through all of it because I need to explain on a deeper level that we're not just painting. I think that needs to be kind of clear. Um, and this isn't about skill, and it's not about who you are or what you have or what you don't have. That'll never be about that here, ever. It's not about what you look like. It's not about how much money you make. It's not about anything superficial in the least. This is about you showing up as a person, showing up for yourself or for people that you love, and saying, I am worth making a change happen for me. Even if it's small, it doesn't matter. And if you do this as often as you can, you will see a difference. If your intention is to see a difference, that's what I can really say. And that's not some sort of like, I don't know, like it's not fairy dust sprinkled around. It's just that our brains are great at recognizing patterns, and our subconscious is powerful. And if you feed it the information that, okay, today we're going to do something different, that's exactly what you can do for yourself. But it's a shift, and it takes practice, it takes time, it takes patience, but more than any of that, it takes loving yourself. And I'll harp on that probably in every video. And so this look at sitting down for these few minutes as an act of devotion and thanks to yourself for getting you this far, for the people who are around you who were supportive, for being alive, for having air in your lungs, for being able to sit in this place under, a blue sky that's been here for so long. And let every breath that you breathe be intentional. Let it be that it's carrying you, it's giving you the opportunity to keep going. So I think now that we've kind of ran through the cards and everything else, and just what we'll be doing, if you'd like to do it with me, like I said, I'm going to probably post this one first so this doesn't end up being like 30 years long. And then the next thing that I put up, now that there's sort of like an introduction, will just be the actual exercise itself. And in that, I'll sit down, I will talk you guys through a body scan. I'll talk you guys through like a short meditation, and you can feel free to pause and stay in that for as long as you'd like to. And just a few like grounding exercises to get yourself really out of your head. That's essentially what that is that we're looking to do, because we don't want to be thinking, we don't want to be panicking while we're doing this. We want to feel sort of, I want to say, like malleable, relaxed as much as possible, and back into our bodies again for a while we're doing this. So I'm really grateful for all of you. I hope that this is going to be helpful. I hope that if you guys are interested and there's anything even maybe that you'd like me to discuss, if there's some kind of topic that you're interested in that has to do with the things that I mentioned, comment it for me. Leave me a like, leave me, and if you've made it here, leave me 2 red hearts if you've reached this point of this. And when you do that, it's just essentially, for one thing, this is going to help it reach the people who really need it, who are really, really alone and hurting. And also, it lets me know if there is anything that I could incorporate here if I'm able to. And that would be amazing to be able to do. I just need some sort of feedback if you'd like to. So if that sounds like something you guys are interested in doing, please don't forget to like subscribe and like and do all the, do all the stuff. And if there's someone that you know that you think could benefit from this, please share it with them. Um, and like I said, let's create something here for everyone, where nobody feels excluded, where nobody feels left out, where nobody feels like they have to pretend just to fit here, because you don't. And that's why I'm going to leave every silly, slip up or mistake or whatever else I've said in here right here for you guys, because I'm a person with a lot of flaws. I am not perfect, and I'm still going to show up for all of you and for myself every day as best as I can. And I just really want to encourage you guys to do the same thing. So much love to you all as usual. And I'll see you really, really soon with a follow up to this.